Hello everybody, welcome to Cape Rugby TV. It's Wednesday night and we bring you the very best of what's happening in the world of Western Province Club Rugby. A whole lot of action tonight. I'm just looking at all the matchups here. We got matchups between Hamiltons and Marties, Paarl and Hamlets, Primrose and Belleville, Lower Paarl and Allendale, Blue Stars and Wraithby, Western Zebras and Masipumalele, and incidentally that will be our featured game this weekend. All right, we're going to take a look at it all. Big thanks to our sponsors that are on board with us. Of course, Hisense is on board as our official technical partner. Color Tone on board with Cape Rugby TV. Dulux Maitland at number 30 Coburg Road. And of course, don't forget MChem 24-hour pharmacy on the corner of the N1 and Durban Road. And Springbok Atlas, for those of you that need your buses for your away games or wherever you plan on touring, Springbok Atlas has got a transport solution for you. Right, let me introduce you to my panel. Lyndon Julius, nice to have you back.
Good evening, JP. Nice to always join the guys on Cape Rugby TV. And it was good to be here.
And Jonah van der Walt, looking very splendid there in your false bay kit.
Cheers, thanks JP. Always lekker to be here.
But of course, we know that you're having neutrality tonight.
Of course, always.
Of course, always, yeah. And Lyndon Julius, we expect the same from you?
Yeah. I won't mention the club where I'm affiliated to.
Which is, of course, St. George's.
I didn't say it. I'm not going to say it.
No, we will always have club rugby people on the show, and we would expect them to be affiliated to a club.
Yeah.
But of course, we have some level of impartiality.
And unbiasedness, yeah.
So listen, we've got quite a lot of stats, guys, to look at here. Jonah, have you at all reconsidered whether or not the Cape Rugby stats has got any merit?
I think there is merit. Again, I have had this conversation before. I think total team stats, points for or against, there's definitely something which you can have a look at. Of course, as coaches and as different clubs, we will look at individual stats. But again, most definitely merit on that side.
I mean, you do a lot of stats at False Bay, obviously. Video stats, video analysis. So there must be some merit in it.
Of course, again, not disagreeing.
What would you say is the most important stat? I mean, you guys look at tackle counts, you look at meters gained, you look at how many scrums there were, how many penalties there. If you were to choose one of the stats when you look at on the weekend, there's always something that jumps out for different coaches. What would be your stat?
Ours will be discipline and lost balls.
Discipline and lost balls.
So discipline, one, it's a controllable. If you can control your discipline, that's obviously in and around the tackle area.
Yeah.
And then lost balls, knock-ons, forward passes, balls lost in contact, getting tackled out. If we can decrease those, you're definitely on the way to.
So when we're talking
winning.
discipline, you're not necessarily talking about discipline such as throwing a punch or something like that. You're talking about discipline in terms of the rules.
Exactly, discipline within the laws of the game.
Yeah.
So around the tackle ruck area, when to kind of infringe, when to push that envelope, and when not, and when to hold back. Yeah.
Lyndon, different language nowadays compared to in the past. I mean, when we talk discipline, people are thinking, well, you're trying to discipline, as I just said, it's a red card or yellow card. But John has also brought up the point before of things like accuracy. And if you're not accurate, you could then lean into the infringement side.
Yeah, no, of course. And then you have also, your crunch time games, which is always what a coach in the Super League A or the Super Leagues usually prepare for, is that crunch games, because of the clubs moving so close towards each other. These days the internet is full of sources where you can find proper and adequate sort of training techniques and conditioning techniques. And everyone's got a game plan or a game book, and I think your discipline and your accuracy definitely does add a big value to your plan for the year.
Right, folks, we have got a number of games coming up during the course of the show. We're, of course, going to look at the All Saints versus Helderberg game. That's where we were over the weekend. It was a massive, massive game. Driving past there, you could see the cars parked on the side of the road, just on the N2 there as you're heading through the Summers West area. Lots of activity there. Of course, the feature game for us this week is going to be between Western Zebras and Masipumalele. They're playing this week. They're sitting at number 3 on the log and 1 on the log, both sitting with a fairly high win percentage. Of course, Masi unbeaten so far during the course of the season. So now you know what's going to come up during the course of the show. But let's first take a look at the first half highlights of the match between All Saints and Helderberg. Right, welcome back, folks. Right, first off there, All Saints and Helderberg. Jono van der Veld, let's go to you first. All Saints, Helderberg. Looked like a fairly thick patch of grass there.
Again, some nice grass. Maybe someone needs to get a little mower out there. Some decent goal kicking and some entertaining or some enterprising rugby, should I say. Some decent attack, decent right ball set piece. We didn't get to see much of it in that half, but not a bad half for rugby. Yeah?
Linden, big derby match. I mean, both sides coming from the same league. They're playing from the same Helderberg Basin. As I said, when I drove past there were cars everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, you would expect it to be quite a hot game.
Yeah, and incidentally, there was another derby happening between Macassan and Strat United just a few kilometers down the road. The amount of people at both of these games was what you didn't expect at every derby. I think also the fact that it's the first time that All Saints and Helderberg play in a league match together. That's also speaks volume of the crowd that was there.
And they're both challenging. They're both challenging at the moment in Super League B.
Now, of course, All Saints is 1 or 2 wins away from the top 6. With the new system in place, they're not out of it. I think they're in 8th or 9th or 11th position or 10th position. But I think 1 or 2 wins on the trot, and then they should be in the top 6 again.
Right, folks, we're going to take a look at the second half highlights between All Saints and Helderberg in a second, and then catch up with the coaches, Werner Williams, Lynn Beekers, and they're from Helderberg, and of course Omar Vanguard and Raymond Fredericks just after the break. Remember, MChem 24-hour pharmacy just down the road between, on the corner at least, of N1 and Durban Road. They open 24 hours a day. I think it's the only pharmacy in Cape Town that's open 24 hours a day. Pop in there anytime. They've got fantastic parking, which is one of those things that I love about MChem, is that there's, if you go to shops nowadays, you've got to go to parking mall, and it's very hard to find parking, and you've got to pay for parking. MChem 24-hour pharmacy, it's free parking. And the nice thing there is, if you go during the day, well, there's a coffee shop and a fantastic menu upstairs. There's so many things that I can talk about MChem 24-hour pharmacy. I've been going there for absolute years. But just pop in there for anything that you need, from pharmaceutical to sports nutrition to orthopedic products. They've got a clinic downstairs, and they've got a nail salon and a spa upstairs. So go and check that out. MChem 24 Hours Pharmacy on the corner of N1 and Durban Road. We're going to be back after the break, and we'll take a look at the second half highlights between All Saints and Helderberg. Welcome back, everybody. It's, of course, Cape Rugby TV. Remember, you can find us on Facebook, www.facebook.com/Cape Rugby TV. And for those of you that have not yet downloaded the Cape Rugby TV mobile app, well, it's available on iTunes and iStore. I love this app. I can go to any information that I want to look at. If I want to go look at the fixtures or the logs or the results, it's easy to download. It's easy to view. I can even see the various teams and who they're playing next in terms of their entire season. And of course the news, all the news on the Cape Rugby TV mobile app. Download it on iTunes or on Google Play. Let's take a look now at the second half highlights between All Saints and Helderberg, derby match in the Basin.
Ja man, dit was taaf geweest. Kyk in die begin, ons het ons voete gevind. Kym was lekker pace, was vinnig geweest. We het agtergeloop 21-0, maar ons het mooi teruggekom. En ja, het was lekker geweest. Ja, kyk ons het mooi teruggekom. Ons manne hou van die expensive rugby. Ons set pieces was nou nie op die dag. Die scrums was bietjie agtertoe, maar ons het bietjie van hulle bolle gekry. Line-outs het ons goed gedoen. Ons het ons eie balle gewen. Kyk, ons het nou net ons kanse benut. Ons was baie keer, ek dink ons was 20 minute geboer op hulle. Dat ons nou nie pale toe geskop het of punte gekry het. So maar ons dis weer iets wat ons kan leer vorentoe. Ja, kyk die boys gel lekker. Ons werk hard. Ons het nou maandag weer ingebring met ons oefen. En dan het ons maar die lang seisoen. Kyk, ons het in die Overberg gaan speel hard in die teams. Maar ons eerste jaar Super B, so ons maak dit kan. Kyk, ons manne moet maar net weer kom prepare, soos ek sê, maandag ons kom terug. Ons werk hard. Ons het 'n nuwe gameplan wat ons net moet. Hy het by rukke en stote het gewerk vandag, maar is iets wat ons nog by mekaar moet sit.
Ja, beslis, dit was 'n taaf ene geweest. Dit is ook my eerste wedstryd as coach, head coach hier by die klub. Dan het hy so uitgewerk dat ons dit moes gedoen het nie. Ons het 'n gameplan in plek gehad en die players het dit nie in plek gesit nie. So ek sal verstaan, miskien was die oomblik te groot want dit is ook Helderberg en ons het lanklaas teen hulle gespeel, so maar ons gaan werk aan dat ons dit goed moet in plek sit. Ons het in die eerste helfte het ons 15 minute gehad wat ons dominant was. Ons het nie die final punt het ons gedoen. Ons het nie die final gereach, ons het nie gaan finish soos die manne moes nou sê. Maar ons het die game gehad, so ons moes dit eintlik net gebruik het. Weer eens as ons die gameplan in plek gesit het, dan het ons vir Helderberg ook in hy 15 minute gewys waartoe ons in staat is. Die gesindheid is goed. Ek dink die verstaanbaarheid tussen die players het gekom. Ons het gister 'n team talk gehad en dit was 'n unit geweest. Ek dink dit was vir my absoluut belangrik. Ons het 'n platform gelê en daar het ons besluite geneem hoe en wat ons gaan doen. So die kaptein moes net die gelling gehou het. Ek verstaan hy het dit gedoen, maar obviously in die game sal dinge natuurlik 'n bietjie hand druk, maar soos ek sê, dit was daar geweest. Ja, definitief. Ek dink baie keer verander jou spelers van week tot week. Volgende week is dit 'n away game. Sit hulle dalk 'n beter potjie op. So ek hoop dat ons gaan dit baie beter doen, maar ons sal by maandag gaan begin en weer begin besin en hoe dinge in plek te sit sodat ons 'n beter wedstryd kan hê vir volgende week.
All right, so the folks are going to have to do a little bit of work there. Jono, if you had a look at the log there, All Saints will, as Lyndon was saying, they'll be regretting this opportunity. We're just past the halfway mark now.
Yeah, look, I think there's a few other things that play there. It looks like they got a new coach who's obviously just come in. A home game, it was a bit of a big occasion. Helderberg are definitely no slouches. They've been in the league a long time, so I think All Saints mustn't be too hard on themselves. You know, they've come up into the SLB.
Yeah.
It's not an easy league to play, and Helderberg are kind of veterans in that league. And but again, it is a home game, so they probably feel like they've probably slipped up on some points. But looks like they're training on Mondays. Looks like the vibe is there. Looks like the coach has got something in place. So let's hope the next few weeks are good for them, man.
Yeah, positive. I love the way that you're drawing the positives out of that, and I think that's what we should be looking for. And I think All Saints will draw from that, and the fans at All Saints will draw from that. So that's great. Let's catch up now with the captain at Helderberg, Werner Williams, and of course the coach Lynn Beekers.
Ja, dit was 'n klipbare wedstryd. Ek het vir my boys gesê, ouens, dit gaan nie maklik wees om te speel hier op Somerset Westie. En All Saints, hulle is 'n goeie span en hulle het die wen nodig gehad vandag, maar op die einde van die dag het die Helderberg vir hulle geoutplay en ek het my ouens gesê, ouens, ons sal stick to ons gameplan en alles het gewerk op die einde van die dag. Die eerste helfte het 'n bietjie rof gegaan, maar ons het die kanse gegryp wat ons gehad het en dit is wat gemaak het op die einde van die dag die eindtelling lyk so. Ja, collisions, ons sal wel prepare vir hulle vir 2 weke se tyd, maar ons sal kyk wat gebeur van ons vat hom uiteindelik maar net game vir game en dit is wat maar net eintlik gebeur in die liga. Ek kan nie expect van die oukies hulle kom, hulle surprise veel in die liga en so. Dis is die liga wat hy het gewees het, die manne kom na vore en hulle kom nou om op die huis om die game te wen.
Ja nee, kyk, almal het nou al die afgelope week gepraat oor dinge oor die derby. Dis nou die eerste keer in die geskiedenis wat die twee klubs mekaar meet in 'n liga. Ons het uitgesien daarna, maar ons het hierdie keer vir ons 'n bietjie laag gehou. En glad nie gesteer aan die woord derby nie. Dit was net nog 'n liga wedstryd en ons het seker goed gehad dat ons in plek gesit het die afgelope 2 weke. Ons was fortunate enough om laasweek af te gehad het, so ons het nou hard gewerk die afgelope 2 weke. Bietjie foute gemaak hier en daar, maar ons glo in die ouens, ons het ons structures begin te regkry. Die ouetjies die gees onder die manne begin regkry En na die ongelukkige slegte verloor teen Parel het ons net besluit dit gaan oor hoe vinnig ons gaan opstaan en afgelope 2 wedstryde het ons goed van ons taak gekwyt. Ja, dit was teen Rangers was dit presies dieselfde geweest. Maar dan die eerste 2 league games het ons in die tweede helfte weer gespeel. So eendag hoop ek daai 2 helftes kan met mekaar kom. Maar ja, ons gaan daaraan werk. Fiksheid, die konsentrasie, slekke bietjie. En dan, ons het vir hulle toegelaat en toe hulle daai eerste 3 druk en toe die crowd hier begin, agter die manne agter All Saints begin te aankom, toe weet ons hier kom moeilikheid nou. Maar ons het uitgehou op die einde van die dag.
Right, welcome back everybody. Lynn Beekers, Lynn, we were just talking about it during the break now. He's been around a long time. Those are the kind of coaches you want. Regardless of their experience, you want coaches that are going to pitch up, stay pitching up, and stay on the ball and keep doing it because the players buy into that.
Yeah, and also like it helps with the general chemistry and synergy of the team and the club.
Yeah.
If a coach knows what the culture in the club is and how the sort of the club, where the club is going to, and Lynn is very, very passionate about Helderberg and about club rugby. He's very passionate about the community in and around Charles Walker Stadium, and I think that is what you need as a club like Helderberg. They really need it because they've been through quite a lot in the last 4-5 years. They've been quite a lot.
John, I mean, you would probably buy into that as well. You've spoken to us in the past a little bit about mentoring the coaches that are in the second and third teams and so on that are coming through the ranks.
Yeah, again, just touching on that previous point, I think coaching, and in club rugby coaching, it's a very selfless kind of task. You know, it's not like all of us are going to be suddenly going to be superstars and we're going up to the next level, so to speak. So a lot of the time that we do is all for our club, it's for the community, and it's for the players. Yeah. And again, if you have coaches in those communities, they're spending hours on that team. So again, credit to them.
No, I think you're 100% right. You know, if I think about what in the amateur sport, if we just go to volunteer space, and Lyndon will back me on this, and so will you, Jono. What coaches, and we always talk about players getting paid. All right. Now, personally, I believe no rugby player in the amateur space should be paid. All right. But this is my personal opinion. But certainly, we've never spoken about coaches being paid. We know that most coaches probably don't ever get paid enough for the amount of time and effort that they put into any of the games. They're using their cell phones to phone the players. Then they are driving players or fetching players in buckies. Then they've got to, of course, be away from home, miss their kids and family because they're coaching on a Tuesday, a Thursday, a Saturday, whatever the case may be. Then they've got to worry about things like washing the jerseys. Well, not in every case, but there's so many different things that the coach has to do. The player, he just has to rock up and practice and play.
And also, like, your coach also needs to deal with your management that once expects certain results from him, and the spectator, and also on social media. So a coach sort of has to juggle all those balls. Yeah.
I mean, John, that's you've also got your hands full with that. You don't just coach. You got you're jumping into the club. You're speaking to sponsors. You're making sure that the door is being managed.
Oh, correct.
The bright fires are lit.
You part-time psychologist as well. You've got to deal with guys, obviously in their workspace, in their family life, whether the actual individual player is right. Never mind on the field, but off the field as well. So a coach has got many roles, not just on the field.
Yeah. Like you say, it is a selfless, thankless. Well, no, I don't think it's a thankless job, but it's a selfless job. It's quite. It really. Yeah. So I suppose, folks, that's what club rugby and amateur sport is about. Is making sure that the community ticks over. To the coaches out there, then, in fact, to the moms and dads and the wives and the people behind the coaches. Thanks for letting them do what they do. That's the tricky part. Right, we are going to, after the break, take a look at the matches highlights between Vixen Durban and Union Mill and Villages. But let's quickly take a look at the other results in Super League B. As we said, it was a win for Helderberg, 37-21 over All Saints. Belleville played against Collegians at home over the weekend, 26-22. Hamlets and Primrose, a win for Primrose, 42-30. Big win there. And Franschhoek 45-24 over Hands and Hearts. Rangers 24-16 over Kuilsriver. Peniel Villages went down to Vineyards 47-18, and Young Peoples beating Kraaifontein 41-19. Lyndon, I think Primrose will be happy with that result.
Yeah, that's the one result that jumped out for me. I always say that going to Mumbai is not a very happy hunting ground for any visiting team. So that's a very good result for them, yeah, definitely.
The other result there, I suppose, that stands out, and I wouldn't say it's a derby, but a little bit close, is Vineyards 47-18 over Peniel Villages. Peniel Villages 2 weeks ago beat Kuilsriver at home. The bottom of the log side. We're seeing all of these anomalies at the moment. I mean,
Yeah, and I think also that just makes even in Super League A. I mean, we just spoke about this before the show. SK beat Hamilton's, and then Hamilton's beat another side, and that side beat SK, and Falsby beating UCT, and UCT beating Marty's,
Yeah.
and so there's all sorts of like you said anomalies, and it makes the leagues quite interesting, and you can't really predict a winner at the end.
Jono, what is that? Because the stats definitely did not predict any of those. Because Peniel Villages was sitting at I think at number 14 on the log, and they beat Kelsover, who was sitting at number 1 on the log. Today, over the weekend, then they go and lose to Vineyards, who's sitting at I think 6 or 7 on the log.
Yeah. Look, I think there's many factors to consider. One, remember, we're not in each of their camps, so we don't quite know. So you don't know whether they rested certain players to maybe pick a weaker side to give his other guys and bench guys a run. You don't know whether they've had injuries and guys are coming back, etc., etc. Some guys have got work, they disappear, they come back. I know, like we were just talking off air, I've used about 39 players in our team, and we've only had 6-7 league games. So, so every little team and every club will have their own little things that are going on, and that kind of affects on game day. And that's why you see some of these results. Also, the other thing is, again, you can never take any team lightly. So if you rock up in a game and you're dead sure to win, but not all of your players rock up on the day and they're not ready for that game, you will definitely lose that fixture.
All right. Take note there, folks. You don't want to definitely lose any fixture. Right, this coming weekend, at least this coming Monday, at Florida Park, Tigerberg's home ground, the Springboks are going to be out there, and there's going to be a youth hubs game. This is happening at Tigerberg on a Monday starting at 1 o'clock. Meet all your heroes, and according to the guys there, don't forget to get there as early as possible. Tigerberg Rugby Club at the Florida Park Sports Ground, Struble Street in Parow. All right, the main access there is starting at 3 o'clock. But I do know that the hubs, the Western Province Rugby hubs guys, are starting with their youth games at 1 o'clock already. So if you want to meet the Springbok players, Florida Park, Tigerberg's home ground, the home ground of the Tire, then get down to the box. I'm sure Springbok Atlas will be transporting the Springboks there, as they do, because Springbok Atlas is, of course, the official bus transport provider to the Springboks, and have been so for so many different years now. As a Western Province club rugby side, you might be needing to travel, certainly to your away games, or even if you're a other sporting organisation, you're watching the show right now, quite often you need to tour away. Right, so if you need to get your bus transport, then certainly Springbok Atlas has got a service ready for you with semi-luxury and luxury coaches. They're very safe and reliable. They travel anywhere in South Africa, and the price is, of course, negotiable. Bus services ranging from 20 seaters up to 60 seaters, and don't forget, of course, there are negotiable rates at the moment for sporting groups. Remember to call Rashad Luki on 021 506 2572. 506-2572 or rashad.luki at springbokatlas.co.za. So if you need to get hold of rashad.luki at springbokatlas.co.za. Now, if you've just forgotten that number or the email address, then download the Cape Rugby TV mobile app and push the bus booking button. It's there on the app, and it'll go directly to Rashad Luki.
Bus booking button.
Bus booking button. Yeah. If I open the app, what happens is I open the app, and of course it takes a second to load, and the bus booking button, it's a tongue twister. And what I will do then is I will simply push on the bus booking icon and choose there we go, it's loaded now. I push the bus booking button, and I can either email or make a call directly to Springbok Atlas. All right, and that's how you make your bus booking. All right, folks, we'll be back after the break. When we come back, Vix and Durban up against, Vix are up against Durban, and of course Union Mill against Villagers. Some of the highlights there, and then we'll take a look at some of the matchup stats coming up still. Paarl against Hamlets in Super League B, and many more. Back in a sec. Right, welcome back, everybody. It's Cape Rugby TV, and remember, if you have missed tonight's show, you can always catch our highlights and interviews on YouTube. Just go and search for Cape Rugby TV. In fact, nice to see a new jersey up. Look at Durban. They've dropped off their jersey there with the DL combined on the front sponsorship there. There goes False Bay. Waiting for False Bay to drop off their jersey. I believe Michael Charles is going to be getting in touch with me and send us the jersey, and we'll put them up in the background there. But yeah, nice to have Durban having dropped off or emailed us their jersey now. So Durban, of course, flying high at the moment on in Super League A. We'll take a look at those a little bit later. But now let's take a look at the highlights in the Durbel versus Vix game. Welcome back, everybody. Right, so let's quickly take a look at the results there in Super League A. That was, of course, the match between Durbel and Vix. Durbel beating Vix there 31 points to 24. Jono, there you see the results on the board right now. UWC beating St. George's last week, Wednesday, 18-15. Bellagio went down to Hamilton's 41-12. SK Warmers went down to Marty's 73-15. Tigerberg beating UWC 25-20. Falsebay with a 14-10 win over UCT, and of course there you see it, Durbel beating Vix 31 points to 24. In a second or so we'll take a look at the match between Union Mill and Villagers, where Union Mill came out as a victory there. Johnny, you would of course been looking at those games keenly, but I think you've played both these sides already. You've played Durbel, you've played Vix. What do you make of the game?
Yeah, we haven't played Vix yet, but we have played Durbel. Durbel again running after playing against us and picking up a narrow loss, and us kind of winning at the death. They're running along in the league at the moment with bonus points, and definitely a team that kind of everyone has to kind of chase and follow, and playing some good ruggers at the moment. I know they came up against a very decent Vix side, and Vix up early, but credit to Durbel for sticking to the guns and finishing off the game strong.
Let's quickly take a look at the logs in Super League A and see where everybody's standing at the moment. At the moment, we've got a situation where we have Durbel at the top of the log at the moment, 32. Hamilton's, Union Mill, Brackenfell, Falsebay, Tigerberg, and Stellenbosch. Looking at some of those log positions there, John, I think Tigerberg will be happy to be with the win that they've had there, but UWC will be very concerned about their position on the log at the moment.
Oh, look, I think Tigerberg will be happy with the win. I know it's a very big goal of theirs to make sure that they kind of go for league honours, and to get league honours you need to make the top 6. UWs, I don't think they need to stress too much yet about relegation. I think they've got a very good side together. I think they've had a very good varsity Shield campaign, and I know that they're prepping for Varsity Cup. They've got a young side there, so it's just about them getting the youngsters to play in a very tough league, and I'm sure that they will definitely pick up a few wins along the way.
So, Lennon, let me bring you into the picture here. If we look at we have looked at the logs in Super League A now. I mean, there's a couple of teams towards the bottom of the log there that'll be a little bit worried. St. George's will be one of them. Vix, although Vix has still got a lot of games in hand, but we're starting to look at the guys that'll be a little bit concerned. Villagers, St. George's, SK, Belhar. I know John says they got a couple of games in hand with UW, but UW's will also just want to now make sure that they're out of the bottom 3.
I'm also of the opinion, if you have games in hand, you still have to play those games. You still have to win those games. So you could have the games in hand, and you could play it. And we've seen now in the last 6-7 weeks that no matchups are easy. So yes, they've got 3 or 4 games in hand, and they're probably playing against the top sides. They've played all the universities. They still need to play Falsbay. They still need to play Durban. Top sides that they still need to come up against. And I think that'll be in UWC's sort of vision at the moment. The other teams, SK, Vix, St George's, Ballard have yet to pick up a win. I think there'll be a dogfight at the bottom towards the end of the season.
Just going back to the top of the pile there, we're looking at Durban now. Durban now sitting at the number 1 on the log at the moment. Jonna, Durban this weekend are going to be up against UWC, but after that they've got some really tough outfits to play against. They've got Stellenbosch, they've got UCT, SK Warmers, Hamiltons and Tygerberg. And at the moment, what the guys are aiming for is that first prize is, you mentioned this earlier on, the 1 and 2 spot.
Correct, yes. So again, in this year's league, obviously with the new format, you're looking at the top 6, but the top 2 teams will obviously miss the quarterfinals and they'll go straight to a semi-final. So you're trying to, any team who wants to kind of compete is definitely going for spot 1 and 2, so they miss the quarterfinal. And then hopefully they try to either get a home semi-final unless it's played on neutral grounds. Durban at the moment will be up against some tough games coming up for them. But I think they're looking pretty good at this point in time. Yeah.
Yeah, well, they're sitting on top of the log. I suppose that's about as good as it gets. Okay, let's take a look at the highlights.
The only downfall of being on top is there's always someone chasing you, and the only place you can go is down. But well, again, credit to them, and long may it last.
Right, folks, if you have not yet joined the Newlands Faithful, which is, of course, the Western Province Rugby Supporters Club, then all you need to do is go to www.wprugby.com, the Newlands Faithful. I keep calling it the Newlands Faithful, but in fact, it's the Faithful. For just R1,000, you can get yourself a DHL Stormers jersey, a brand new exclusive cap. Only the faithful get this cap. A R500 Adidas voucher. They send you your membership card and a certificate. All of that will come directly to your door, courtesy of DHL and BrightRock and various other sponsors. Also with some bonus gifts there, and of course the free trial gym access. Not to mention that faithful SIM card starter package which I think is worth about R500. So. And then, of course, because you're a member, you get to go to, I think it's GoDaddy, the discount online store where you get discount on top of a discount. So that's for the faithful. So very easy to join. It costs R1,000, and the welcome pack alone is worth more than R3,000. So definitely worth doing. We'll take an ad break. When we come back from the break, we'll take a look at the highlights between Union Mill and Villagers, and of course your matchup still coming up during the course of the show. Well, welcome back, everybody. Let's get straight into it then. You're watching Cape Rugby TV, of course, proudly presented by Score Energy Drinks, MChem 24-hour pharmacy, Dulux Maitland at number 30 Coburg Road, of course, Hisense, and Springbok Atlas. Don't forget, if you want to get your paints supplied to you easily with the best possible service, then Dulux Maitland at number 30 Coburg Road. Get down there, and the guys will sort you out that you have all your paint supplies done to the T. Let's take a look now at the highlights between Union Mill and Villagers. 48-26 win for Union Mill over Villagers. Villagers have had a 50-50 season so far, Lyndon. Union Mill, though, continue to show their strength. I think at the moment they're even playing the strengths without coach Ismail Jolly, who is in Mecca.
Yeah, I think Union Mill is one of those sides that are slowly creeping up. They've picked up some very convincing wins, like the one on Saturday. They've sort of gotten off to a good start. They're building off a good pre-season. I think Villager will just take from the game that they added some points on the board, and then going into this last couple of weeks, they got some matches against the teams at the bottom. This weekend they're up against St. George's, so I think that's one match that they might be pegging to take.
Take a win, yeah.
Yep.
Possibly. Jono, looking at the game, anything that jumps out for you? Some nice fast backline
I
players.
just noticed that it looks like he started his bench in the game there. Maybe tactical substitutions for future games to come. But very good backline, a nice pack. Their set piece is good, decent line out, some scrum, defence not bad, some pace out wide, and some very big ball carriers. I think the two clubs are on different paths and journeys, to be quite honest. I think Unimil, this is the year where they want to make a statement. They're kind of here to stay. I know there's talks of Gold Cup, League, etc., etc. And they're definitely a team that's on the rise and on the up.
Yeah.
And I think that they're a big threat in Super League this year.
And Villagers, on the other hand, are busy playing this consolidation game of making sure the club is stable. They really have got a different. There's a breath of fresh air that's driven through them back in Super League, eh?
Exactly. So Villagers have come up and they're in this league, and this is not an easy league. Of course, they do mean business and they have recruited well, and they have obviously they've basically done some of their homework. But Super League is not easy to just come in and dominate off the bat straight away. And you kind of got to make sure that your house is in order and make sure that you kind of tick all the boxes in terms of depth, so that when middle of the year comes, middle of the season, and it's been going long and we've had a long start, that your depth is there, so that when injuries still come, that you don't dip out on any points that are on offer.
Right, folks, if you want to win yourself a case of Score energy drinks, get your mobile phones out now. It is, of course, on the mobile app as well. Score, of course, on board with Western Province Club Rugby and the Western Province Club Rugby Sevens. That'll be coming up a little bit later during the course of the show. You want to win yourself a case of Score energy drinks right now? 33090. Just SMS the word Score to 33090. Congratulations to last week's winner, Gaynor Adams. Gaynor walks away with a case of Score. Congratulations, Gaynor. Someone from Cape Rugby TV is going to be in touch with you shortly. Right, folks, we'll take an ad break. When we come back from the break, we're going to take a look at some of the matchups. Hamiltons are up against Stellenbosch. Paarl are up against Hamlets. Primrose are up against Belleville. Lower Paarl and Allendale. Blue Stars and Wraithby. Western Zebras and Masiphumelele. These are the key matches we've pulled out. We're running tight on time, so we have a quick look at the matchups coming this weekend. But, of course, for us, the match of the week is going to be Masiphumelele up against Western Zebras. Both teams are on fire, sitting at number 3 and 1 on the log in the City League. Back in a sec. Welcome back, everybody. Time for us to take a look at the stats now. It's Cape Rugby TV. We'll take a quick look at the stats. Super League A match pick that we've got here is, of course, Hamilton's up against Stellenbosch. Hamilton's sitting at a 75% win at the moment. Marty sitting at 80%. Jono, you've taken a look at the stats here. This could be a close game. They're sitting at 2 and 6. Marty's got a lot of games in hand.
I think it will be a close game. For once, I think in many years, I'm a bit in the middle. It's almost like if it was the old format to the league, I would have wanted Hammies to win. Now it's the new format. It doesn't really bother me. So as a biased, unneutral person, I'm hoping for a 10-all draw. Yes, but as a rugby supporter or someone who watches rugby, I think it's always nice when an open club takes one over the varsity. So I will be rooting for Hammies. And let's just hope again, like we said, that rugby is the winner at the end of the day.
As long as it's
10-all draw.
Club.
As long as it's a 10-all draw, it's great.
All right, let's take a look at our next matchup here. Lyndon, I'm going to go to you. It's Paarl against Hamlets over the weekend. You said earlier on, now this is also a very close prediction. Let's quickly take a look at the stats there. 71% win rate at the moment for Paarl, who are sitting number 2 on the log. 50% win rate for Hamlets, who are sitting at number 5 on the log. Both points have got points against, points for. And are scoring on average 5 and 4 points per game. You said earlier on that you think Paarl is going to take this one.
I think Paarl's going to take this one. They've been surprising me. They're in position 2. They've been a big surprise for me this year. I think they're going to take it. They are tough to beat at home. But I think Hamlet's not going to make it easy for them. But I think Paarl's going to take this one.
All right, our next pick is in Super League B as well. Primrose are up against Belleville. We think that this is going to be a monster game. The teams are sitting a little bit lower on the log, 9 and 8, and are definitely going to want to climb up. Look at this, the percentage wins here, folks. 67% win rate for Primrose at the moment, and a 7% win rate for Belleville. Jonna, looking at all things stats-wise here, these sides are both very equal. And if I look at Belleville, they have been a dangerous side for a long time in Super League B, and Primrose have just come back down from Super League A. So you're talking about a strong club, both clubs, strong clubs.
Yeah, I think again, in terms of your stats, JP, these teams are deadlocked. Everything is just about the same, and it's not the same with their log points.
Yeah.
I think if I were a betting man, which I'm not, but if we were, I'd definitely go for a Primrose win at home, and I'm sure it's going to mean a lot to both teams then.
It could mean the difference between jumping up into the top 6 on the log.
So there's a lot to play for.
There's a lot to play for. All right, our next picture is in the PAL League, folks. There are some massive games, of course, in PAL this weekend at Dal Josephat. In fact, there are 3 big games on the Dal Josephat. But we're taking a look here at Lower PAL. They're up against Allendale. Lyndon, you know these teams quite well. Again, we're looking at equal stats here. 86% win rate for Lower PAL, 86% win rate for Allendale. They're sitting at number 2 and 3 on the log. Well, this is one of those, they're scoring 6 tries per game. Everything's equal, a little bit like the other game.
Yeah, this one is different because, I mean, it's not really home and away, if you can really call it that. It's the PAL League is a derby league throughout the year, and I think Allendale are the stronger 2 sides. If I look at the history between the two clubs that have been played, I think Lower PAL have sort of had a hot and cold start to the season, like they had previously, where they would come out all firing and kept that pace. I think Allendale is going to take this one between them.
All right, I'm going to stay with you, Lyndon. Blue Stars are up against Wraithby. All right, you know both these sides as well intimately. We're quickly looking at the stats here. We've got a 75% win rate for Wraithby. We've got an 88% win rate for Blue Stars. They're sitting at number 1 and 3 on the log at the moment. I mean, Blue Stars have jumped up here, and considering that they took a knock against Funstal Evergreens the other day, again, very equal.
What stands out for me here is the amount of tries both teams have scored per game. Wraithby, although they have a 75% win ratio, they haven't lost a game this season yet. I do think that Wraithby is going to take this one. They are very strong, very young side. The average age there is about 22, 23. It's a very good for them to prepare for the promotion, top 9 promotion league, and then also for Super C. They do get qualified. I do think that Wraithby is going to take this one against Blue Stars.
All right, John, I'm going to come to you now. Our featured game for the weekend is Masi Phumelela up against Western Zebras, playing in the City League. Let's take a look at the stats here. We've got a 100% win rate for Masi at the moment. They're unbeaten. Western Zebras sitting at number 3 on the log on a 63% win rate. But Western Zebras got a home ground advantage here. At some stage, do you think Masi can keep up this winning streak, Warren Edwards and his boys?
I think they can do so, and I think there's a lot to play for. I think it doesn't matter home or away. You know, the only nice thing I always say, it is Cape Town. Cape Town's quite small, like 15, 20 kilometers, and you're at a field, unless you must really drive 30, 40, 50 Ks. So there are some places where home and away doesn't really matter, to be quite honest. And I think it's going to be the case for Massey over here. It doesn't matter where they're playing as long as they're picking up points, and they definitely mean business in this league. Yeah.
It's going to be a very equal game then, folks. They both got 97 and 95 points against themselves. And then, of course, Masi, of course, got a little bit of advantage with season points on the board. But it's going to be a cracker of a game this coming weekend. Western Zebras against Masi Phumelela. Let's quickly take a look at some of the fixtures then coming up this weekend in Super League A. It's Vix up against Bellahar, False Bay take on Union Mill, Hamilton's and Stellenbosch, NTK and UCT, Brackenfell, SK Warmers, St George's, Villagers, Durban are up against UWC. And then, of course, in Super League B, it's Hands and Hearts up against Benil Villages, Paarl and Hamlets, Primrose and Belleville, Vineyards and Rangers, Young People's Franschhoek, Collegians and All Saints. In Super League C, we see Young Stars up against Macassar, Strand United against Manenberg Rangers, Cullimore take on Young Wesleys, Elsies and Langa, Busy Bees and Goodwood, Blue Jets and Scottsdene. In the City League, we see Hamadias up against Progress, Perseverance take on Watsonia, Police and Callies, Temperance and Young Ideas, Western Zebras and Masi, Silvertree and CPUD Gardens. And then, of course, in the Southern League, it's Lagunia and Peninsula, Bishop Lavis take on Thistles, Retreat and Morningstar, Young Brothers up against Titans. In the Northern League, it's Blue Stars up against Rugby, Delft and Eersterivier. Strand Pioneers take on Khayelitsha, Van der Stel Evergreens against Imikawi, and Stellenbosch Coronations up against Whistling Wheels. And then, of course, it's Lower Par up against Allendale this weekend, as we spoke about earlier on. Some big games this weekend. Lynn and Julius, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. It's always good to chat club rugby, and it's always good to see how the leagues are sort of getting closer and closer, and it's very exciting and very enticing.
Oh yeah, Jonathan van der Walt, thanks for joining us. False Bay playing this weekend?
We are playing a Unimil, so Ishini side, and we are hosting them at home. And again, there's some games this evening.
It's your last home game before you have a whole lot of away games.
We are on a 9-game streak in a row, so we've 1 down, 8 to go, and it's 1 home game now, and then we got plenty away. So we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a nice challenge, and yeah, let's see how we go.
Well, hopefully you'll use Springbok Atlas to book your bus bookings for your away games.
We will definitely make some inquiries.
Make some inquiries, get some good deals on it. Get hold of
On the
Rashad
bus
Luki.
booking button.
Use the bus booking button, yeah. It'll take you straight to Rashad Luki. Thanks, Lynn and Julius. Right, folks, that's a wrap from us here at Cape Rugby TV. A big thanks to Durbel that's come on board with Cape Rugby TV. DL combined. We'll see you again next week, same time, same place. Have a fantastic rugby weekend. Bye-bye.